Right, over the ditch. It is back for another week, and out with the new, back with the old, where it all began. Cameron Bray, hello.
G'day, Paul. How are you today, mate?
Very well. Belated happy birthday too. Can't believe you're 47. That's an amazing figure for you.
I've had to defend myself numerous different chat groups. Buddy Mark Hughes, he's a beauty.
Indeed. It was actually the other Cam. He didn't tell me that either when we recorded that. It was the other Cam Grant's birthday, I think the next day. So
Yeah. He's on the 9th, I think. So he's a couple of days later.
yeah, you Cams are right around each other, but that's okay. Mate, been a huge week in harness racing in New Zealand, huge week in racing, full stop, across everywhere. It always is. Plenty to chat about, but from the New Zealand NZB's Standardbred's point of view, weanling sales have closed. June 26th is going to be. The catalogue will be released very, very shortly, but you must be excited. What did I see? 80, was it 83 lots or 73?
83. 83, one withdrawn, 82. There is a potential of a bit of a supplementary catalogue, maybe, but we'll be able to advise that later on. But the catalogue will be launched in the next few days. But yeah, no, 26th of June, 2:30, following the completion of the thoroughbred weanling sale. So there's something a little bit different, and I think something that will be quite exciting, really, I think.
Yep, would agree. It's going to be a great day. And that 2:30 gives the Standardbred people a time to sort of work it out. But having been to these weanling sales before, and I know this one's going to be a little bit different, you want to be there for the whole day, though. It's just a cool day, isn't it, to get around and mingle with like-minded people and people who enjoy the industry.
Yeah, definitely. The 2:30 gives us enough time to, because obviously we're going to sell two different breeds. We've got two different computer systems, so we have to sort of change over so we can sell and change the bid board. So that's the idea behind that. I've got 130 odd off the top of my head. I don't exactly know the total number, but it's about that. So it will be a big old day selling. So I do applaud anyone if they're interested to come on out. It will be quite an action-packed sort of day.
Yeah, it will be. And it's fun. And the guys sell in a different frame of mind. There's not the thing. I had a quick look, Cam. We discussed what we're going to talk about. I didn't alert you to these ones. So the weanling sales, and there's a list of graduates on there. If you go to nzbstandardbred.co.nz and you'll see them. Sale itself is headlined by graduates such as Christopher Dance, Fugitive is one horse I'm going to bring up, Artie by the Seaside, Alta Meteor, Forever Dreams, Mantra Blue, I hate that name, Maester Eros, Sinbad, Turn the Page. And, of course, prior to NZB selling, there's been some huge names that have been listed. But I want to point out to you the last weanling sales, which the horses that are eligible now to race, this Friday night this is just like Friday night, there's three horses going around that are graduates from that sale, and then one other horse. So you've got Fugitive, which was a $21,000 purchase at the weanling sales in 2022, was it, Cam? It has to be. 2023. So $21,000 purchase there, has already won $86,000. Rikiro Maximus, $11,000 purchase, has won $8,500. So he's well and truly on his way. He's only had the one start for one win. It's not going to be his last win the way he won. And then Who's Your Daddy by Elite Stride, who has had I'm actually not sure he's won a race. Yet he's very, very consistent, $17,000, an $8,000 purchase. So, I mean, it's amazing the horses that come out of this sale and actually go on, isn't it?
And the first 2-year-old winner of the current season was a weanling sale horse, Angelique Copy, I think it is.
Yep, 3 from 3.
Macalodge.
Sorry?
Macalodge presented that at the weanling sales back then.
And Rikiro Maximus as well. So two of the Macalodge graduates have gone terrific. It's a magic opportunity and a good way, albeit, Fugitive 21,000, but she's on exposed form. That's a great buy now. Yeah. It's really cool.
It's always been, and we've always said this, that when you look at numbers catalogue for graduates, it is very high. It's always had a great strike rate, that sale. And just, the genuine racehorses of our industry here, the amount of them that come via that auction it's quite breathtaking. It's good. It's been a great source, and we've got them at all different levels of the market. You're talking about Fugitive and horses like that. there's a lot of just good old racehorses going around week in, week out that have come by those sales for not a lot of money. People like Bruce Negus and people like that have been great supporters of that sale over the years and have done a great job.
Yep, absolutely. And Debbie Green is another one. I want to ask you just a question, Cam. I'm just going to flick the screen up there now on top. And I've got Angelique copy there by Better's Wish. And as I said, 3 from 3. And you can see there she's a purchase of $7,500. These names, do they get updated in your system, or is that just that they were named at the time, Cam, or do they actually
No, only goes through and updates them all.
Yeah, so you can go through. That's so good. So that's where I found Rakiro Maximus, of course, another the Macca Lodge ones, and you can see they're $11,000, and you can go through. So when they're named, they've got to be very, very close, don't they, to getting it? That's a great little. I enjoyed that actually. I took 5 minutes to quickly flick through them, and I'm like, geez, I wonder if these horses were named or they've since been named since then. So.
I'm just unsure. I'm just actually unsure of the actual rules around it. I think from memory, I don't know if it's if they've raced or that they have placed. But regardless, if they've raced, I think it is they get their name on the website.
So all these horses may have raced. You're saying
potentially, yeah, or have trialled or something.
Right. Well, that's ridiculous. That's amazing.
So when you talk about that, so that
way, because there's hardly a gap where there's horse not named.
And this is the thing. That's what makes the website so quite powerful. If you want to see a sale price of a horse, there's a big chance just hit NZB, type in the horse search, type in the horse's name, and if it or anything that's related to being through the through a sale, you will get it.
Yep, and we might even highlight that in a section second. If you like, we do the likes of Meant to Be or one of those. But actually, we'll do it. We'll actually do it now. It's pretty simple, except I've got one issue, Cameron. No, it must have been a 2023 graduate.
I don't want to point this out, but you've got more than one issue, mate.
There's a few ways you can do it. You can type it into there. Now, I can't remember what Meant to Be's out of. Can you?
Type it into the thing, it'll tell you.
Oh, I can type Meant to Be in there, can I?
Yeah. Put it on the screen so that people can see.
Oh, you don't want to be seen in front of it? That's fine. I didn't.
No, this is the whole point of what there it is there.
Yeah, so I actually thought
if you really want to know.
Yeah, the mare's name. But if you actually do it this way, and then he comes up underneath here, you can see it was $145,000 purchase from Breckon Farms. They were the vendors.
But hang on, mate. If you go out and go into horse search up on the top right there.
Yep.
Click on it. Type it in now. Meant to Be.
Meant to Be now.
Yep.
And search.
Well spelled. Yep. Search. So go down.
Yep.
It now points out to you what sale it was sold at, what year, lot number, and everything. So you could, type in marketplace. You can type in marketplace in the same thing. It'll tell you what year it was sold.
Okay.
And same job, mate. It's quite a powerful tool.
We don't put
all one word.
Yeah, no, it gets me every time. That. That is ridiculously good, is it not? That's okay. So what about Cam? I'm going to see if this works. We will type in. We'll get rid of that. I don't know how many others you've sold out of the mare, but we'll just, for argument's sake, we'll type in Cullen Who and hit enter, and it does too. Look at that. So there you are. So if anyone's watching this and wondering what it was, this is all the horses that have been sold via Cullen Who through your sales.
They've all been named and the names have been updated. Well, I think they were all named at the sales anyway, to be fair. But even a mare that isn't, as they go the races a bit. Well, maybe not, because the most recent one hasn't been named.
Yep, that's right. So it's not named yet, but it wouldn't be old enough. Well, it was only sold this year, was it?
Current yearling.
Yeah, yearling this year. And then, who's better?
Marketplace.
Yep. Yep, and they're sold as. Oh, I see. So they were sold as yearlings, right? Okay, so they're sold as yearlings. It's such a great tool, isn't it? It's and look, I don't think control.
I'm just trying to think of one now. You can
go to the horse search.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of a name of a horse that was bought out of. Let's just try and think of a pinhooked one. Okay. NZB Standardbred. Here's one for you. I just want to show you another thing that does happen. What the beauty of this thing. If I go to, and I'll go to vendor. Bear with me, mate. Just a couple of ticks here because I'm going to get you to search a horse for me. And this is one of the other good things you ever want to know. It's also a good way of being able to check a few things out. Where the hell are they? Sorry, go back to here.
All's good. We can.
Right. Okay. Look up. Where are you? Look up Starsky. Oh no, actually don't. Look up Joe, as in Joe Pace.
Just J-O or J-O-E?
J-O-E.
Yep.
Then space.
Yep.
C-E-C-C-H-I.
So what is that, Joe Secchi?
You tell me.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there you go. So here's a good one. So here's the weanling was bought at the weanling sale in 24 for $15,000. We then went back through the yearling sales in 25 and sold for 70.
Wow.
So it's got all that information in it too, mate.
So if you might tell me off for this, if I type in Starsky,
yep,
it will actually bring up.
It'll bring up all her progeny records. So she sold more than that over the years. So you got all that.
Right. And then it says there weanling. So that's where, so underneath, of course, so it's got Hawkeye here with the yearling underneath, and Sugar with yearling underneath. But then Joe Cerky has got a weanling underneath it, and then it was sold through the yearling sales via Rosedale, bought by Phil Kennard, and you can go from there. That's an amazing tool, Cam. I really appreciate that one. I do. I think more people need to be aware of it, and not being disrespectful or cheeky in any way. I know talking to when I did one of these when the SBSR ones, and we'll talk with the prices very shortly about the prices. But Katrina didn't know the basic search, which I showed her when you type in the mare. But having now just have a horse, and that bring up all the history, and you can a very simple search tool. I'm going to sound smart, mate. People are going to think I'm even smarter than what I was.
That's scary.
You got in trouble last time for that, so you got to.
I stopped myself.
We had a slight audio issue just there before, but I think
it glitched out. It glitched out.
Wow, we were a little bit out of sync, but I've actually fixed the syncing up now, so we should be good.
That won't hurt.
No, it won't. That's for sure. So, but anyway, it'll be fine. Rightio. In all seriousness, though, Cam, we'll while we're on the prices, let's go to there. Of course, Duchess Maria, great little win in the the Young Guns at Auckland on Saturday night. We might touch on that part in a sec. I'll just get this video to play, Cam, before I get it to pop up there. But good little win, very, very professional horse. Congratulations to John and Katrina. They've got themselves a really nice little filly here by Muscle Hill.
Yeah, they have. It was gutsy, wasn't it? And look at these. You said we're going to touch on it at some point, especially for these young horses. It was going to the races 2 nights in a row. They've got a far better night the second time round, but I was there with John and Katrina on the Friday night when we obviously got the abandonment. So, it's good. It was professional, did the job.
Yeah, it did indeed. And professional is a great word. It's other win when it won at Invercargill, its first start. Nathan had the confidence to let other horses go around it, and it really found the line terrific. I'm hopefully going to catch up with Nathan later on today as well, so we'll get a little bit more of an in-depth into it. Very professional horse. Second horse was terrific. I think the rest of them are very good. Got to remember, very early in the season for these 2-year-old trotters. It's now had 2 starts, that horse, and interestingly enough, 55,000 in the pool. So 2-year-old.
Yeah, and I tell you, it would have been a lot easier smiling in the photo on Saturday night than it would have been on Friday night. I can tell you that much.
It was indeed. I think I saw John Curtin in the photo actually with that one. He ventured down from the Palace to stand into the photo there. So yeah, I saw that. I don't want to throw you under the bus at all, Cam. We will go to the other next to the races. We are going to highlight. We'll touch on that other part about the meeting in a sec. We'll stay with the horses and great supporters of both NZB, Campbell's Comments, Breckon Farms. They've bred themselves a little ripper here. He's such a professional horse, Cam, in meant to be. He just gets a job done week in, week out now. He was a bit naughty early on, but geez, he's mended his manners and he's a professional horse. I think here in a minute, Tony Hurley, he just launches, and that horse was terrific running second, but he didn't even worry about it, whereas I think a year ago, that might have been enough to throw him off his stride, but he just took it all under his belt and just loped along to the winning post.
He's a smart 2-year-old, obviously, winning those couple of group races. He won the Harness Million, obviously, down there in October. He's won the Harness Million again since earlier in the last month or so. And he is a real fair income racehorse, isn't he? It's congratulations to the owners. I know it's quite a large syndicate. They're having a lot of fun, led by Len Orton there, who's a board member of the Auckland Trotting Club. So good to get that nice win on home turf. But yeah, Barry and Scotty have got themselves a lovely wee horse there. Very, very progressive, and good to see him, stand up at these big Group 1 nights, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed. Must be great for you guys from NZB point of view. I know you weren't there, and I know James is not available.
I tried to be there the night before. I was definitely there the night before.
Those things happen. I don't think Brad Steele was able to be there. Actually, I know for a fact he wasn't there. Same thing, prior arrangements, and a little bit hard to reschedule at the last minute. But must be great for you guys. As I said, great supporters through the ownership, but also Breckon Farms, what they do for the NZB sales, and New Zealand trotting as well. So it must be really good and rewarding for you.
They are huge. They're industry powerhouses, Breckon Farms. They consistently breed a good product that stands up time and time again. And case in point here with Meant to Be. So yeah, we get a lot of pleasure out of seeing our sales race winners going on to perform at Group 1. Obviously, the sales race is a bit more of a tighter pool of horses. So when they step out in that open Group 1 age group company, it's great to see them perform. And he is a professional by every way possible.
Yeah, he is indeed. Another very professional horse. This horse didn't actually go through the sales, I don't think, Captain's Mistress, but 2-time now winner of the Sire Stakes, albeit didn't win the 3-year-old division last year, did win the 2-year-old division, as you correctly pointed out to me, Ken. But I tell you, professional horses go a long way, don't they? I think the 3 horses up front, Wine Light, Arafura, and Beside Me, they've been pretty strong against each other. Nathan's just got off he didn't get off the fence. He was 4 back the fence and managed to get up to 3 back the fence. But when the gap opens for this horse, a little bit like last year, she knows where the winner post is. She probably a little bit more professional this year. She ran straight past them. But, just a lovely filly. But a great group of 3-year-old fillies this year in New Zealand.
That's what I was going to say. As a 2-year-old, there was a good group of those fillies, and again, this horse here, what a filly she is. She's come off the fence, as you can see there, coming wide on the turn, and does run away with it a little bit in the end. But she was very dominant back there through Cup Week, and it looks like things are stacking up again. So I think Mr. Boots has got himself another nice filly there.
Yeah, he has indeed. Princess Gracie was very good for Woodlands. I think they would have been wrapped in that run against that sort of company. Wine Light was outstanding. Arafura is a horse to follow. I really think, and Beside Me, torrid run there on that occasion. But I think it is really another high class horse. It's interesting because without you now heading to, I believe, Queensland, there's been a few horses recently purchased, but you sort of understand why a little bit, because you're going to be chasing these horses around for the good prize money for a long time. So good prize money is great. Probably just changes the demographic of how people look at certain races.
Yeah, it's always the thing. You weigh up versus what can you win versus what the offer is, and sometimes the offer wins, and that's just the reality of this business we're in, isn't it? So you can't blame them. You're going to be running in good company for a period of time, and again, also you're now at a part of the year where things do shift to Queensland for the winter time, so there is those opportunities for the purchaser of that horse to win some cash back pretty sooner.
Yep, exactly, and that's I think what they're doing. There's been, some. I think the one thing you hear a lot of rumours and that you don't know how many of them are right or wrong, Cam, but a lot of people offering a lot of money for New Zealand horses, and they're getting knocked back. That can only be good for New Zealand harness racing. Doesn't matter if it's
Particularly, you hear them all the time, and I think that's the thing is that much the same as the yearling sales throughout Australasia, we saw it. It's no different to the tried horse race market. Is at the top end there seems to be quite a lot of money because at the end of the day now these good 2 and 3 year olds, 4 year olds, even in fact, can win so much money.
Yep.
And again, I go back to the offer versus what they could win. And, some of those big offers, they've been knocked back. People going, holy moly. But at the end of the day, they might win that.
Yep. And it is an interesting one. Back to the price horse, a 2-year-old filly. Very hard to sell those, probably 4 or 5 years ago. We are starting to see a changing trend. That filly now has won $55,000 in stakes. I think the second horse has won $46,000. With this prize money, it does definitely change the way people think about what they go and purchase at a sale as well. And there's still opportunities, but you've got to be smart about looking and finding them.
Well, as I've said to you already today when we spoke on the phone, there is a real chance now for someone, particularly in the trotters. There is quite a suite of races for the age group trotters now, and it's for very good money. So I think there is a lot of value in buying a trotter, particularly at the age group level now. Once upon a time, you sort of had to get through your age group career to get the big money in the open class. But now you've got all this age group money now, and quite a number of those races at 100,000+, which 3 or 4 years ago you wouldn't have ever dreamed of.
Yep. And the investment's coming too. This is the flow-on effect because you and I both know there's a couple of people relocating mares. And so a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. So we want to make sure that people are aware of it and get behind it. And what is happening, and it's a huge opportunity. Again, the weanling sale coming up. I don't know, I haven't seen the final catalogue and all the rest, but there'll be some trotters in there and a magic opportunity to potentially pinhook one now, which you wouldn't have thought you could do years gone by.
Well, if you did years gone by, people might have thought you probably might have been a touch crazy, but now you're a genuine chance. There is, again, I say it again, the value. There is so much value because you're nowhere near the average price of what a pacing weanling would be. And again, when we look at the yearling sales results, yes, it's slightly less than what it is of a pacing yearling, but it's still a hell of a lot more than what it was.
Yep. Yeah. It's return on investment. Cam,
Secret to success, mate, ROI.
It is. I'm not going to ask you to say anything here. I am just going to question the powers that be at running race 1 on Friday night. Now, runners might have been on the track, but this is just prior to the start of it. We have a thing over here called OH&S. I don't think we would have had any chance of that race being run. And before anyone says to me, the shower might have just came, that might be right. But when you look on the infield with a lap to go at the water, lapping up to the pegs, what happens if one of those drains that is clearly under pressure runs across the track? You've then got all these wash marks going across that. One of these horses only had to hit the deck. One of the drivers hurt. You imagine an ambulance guy trying to work out there in that sort of weather. You got to really question behind it. I understand it was a big night of racing in that, but and some people might say, it was great that we got one run on. There's actually a bloke standing on a camera back there trying to film it out in the weather. Barrier attendants are out there. I don't know whether this was necessarily the smartest thing I've seen happen lately, Cam. I don't want you to say anything about it, mate, because as I said, you used to hold a few positions, but I think people need to probably just...
To give context, what I will do is give context to the whole thing, because I was in Auckland that night. I wasn't there for race 1. I was Just prior to the running of race 1, I was in the shower at the Cornwall Park Motel just across the road, and I couldn't work out what the sound was. I could hear the rain falling on the roof over the noise of the shower. It's rain like I've never seen before. And I went round to the race course thinking, well, we're not going to be here long. And as it turns out, we weren't, because the volume of water that fell over that 25 minute period was unbelievable. I can't really speak to what happened for race 1. I wasn't there. So, I know that the being at the Sire Stakes board meeting all day Friday, I know the club, Harness Racing New Zealand, and the Stipes worked pretty hard on making the right decision, or trying to make the right decision. And up until about 5 o'clock, it seemed to be like they were doing the right thing. I don't know. But as I thought I might add context to it. The amount of rain, you could overhear it over me singing, I Love My Body, and in the shower, and it was unreal. It was crazy.
Don't disagree with that, but they surely could have said, we better call this one off for the minute, put it back half an hour.
Well, they ran the race and they put the second race back a half hour, and then they obviously abandoned it, because the damage was possibly done already, Yep.
But I just noticed here, I said to you before about the water across the track. Have a look at that. That's the sprint lane now.
No, that's well past the pegs, isn't it?
Yeah, those horses are in the sprint lane. They're running through puddles. How is that fair? In all fairness, before people turn around and say, I'm a doom and gloom, some poor bugger's backed this horse and it's got to run through a puddle. How does that? I don't understand how you can say that that's fair. The drag on the wheels, the horse's feet, imagine its boots. It's an unfair playing field, but I think it's a terrible look for our industry as well. And I think, probably just need to think a little bit better than that. I follow the motorbikes. Anyone who follows the motorbikes, they put red flags out instantly and pull people in straight away. I don't understand why we couldn't do the same thing right there. I don't think that was fair. Well done, Andre Portama. It's a Woodlands bred horse as well. Words by Seaside, down by the Seaside. Yep, and it was bred by Woodlands Stud. So I think well done to those guys. But I think people need to be a bit careful about how they do things. That's for sure. So anyway, that's all. That's my little side note, Ken.
Well, what I will say is, on a positive note, you've got to commend the TAB, or Intane, the TAB, Harness Racing New Zealand, and Auckland, though, for once they actually did make the decision to abandon, to get on and get that well publicised and the transfer made to the Saturday night. I think they do need to be commended there, because Group 1 night, these horses are up prime, ready to rumble. They don't need to be losing, days between runs.
No, absolutely. Was one side note. It's a bugbear of mine anyway, but it's very hard to watch New Zealand harness racing over here. Sky Active take them. If they're more often than not on the Friday night, put on the Sky 2, because there's just no time slots. Totally understand that in Australia. We're Australia, you guys are New Zealand, and you do get to watch them on Sky Active. Unfortunately, only the 3 group races were televised back into Australia too. So, yeah, I agree with you. Get them run so people can get home and get on with their life. There's no problems there. But yeah, the flip side of that was we couldn't see them until we watched the replay.
Saturday night is always a tricky one anyway, and hence why we don't generally race on a Saturday night in this country. So, but I think the decision was either that, or I think they said Sunday night. I think they did make the right decision over the nights.
Yeah, no. It's one of those ones. Again, sometimes we live in our own bubbles, and I was in Sydney looking forward to watching them. Even Sky Active didn't have them on. I had the tablet set up there, and you couldn't find them even on Sky Active, unfortunately, to be able to watch them. So unless they were the 3 races we showcased just then, you couldn't see them. So that was a little bit different. But anyway, Cam, I've got some great supporters that get behind me. I do know Gavel House will be open tomorrow, and there's going to be some nice inclusions, if you like, into the Gavel House sale. I want people to be aware they close. When do they close?
Entries close tomorrow night, 10 o'clock New Zealand time.
Yep. And that sale goes live Friday?
Thursday, 5 o'clock.
Yep. So there will be plenty of interest in there too. And I can allude that it's one of my major sponsors getting behind that. So, but plenty of others. Gavel House works beautifully, doesn't it?
So, yeah, it's good. Yeah. But, we have it provides a service on the regular for people that wanting to market horses and move stock on. It certainly does play its part in the whole grand scheme of things.
Yep. It does indeed, and it is terrific. Right, mate, we got racing at Addington. You do have a couple of hats you do wear. We'll actually go to we'll go to the last one because it's one of the highlights, if you like. Can you explain to me how the Sire Stakes work, Ken, before we actually preview this race? We're talking there before about Captain's Mistress and how she won the 2-year-old division. She won that at Addington from memory, and then the 3-year-old was at Auckland. Is there, I don't know, how do you allocate which sex and gate gets raced on which island? Do they rotate, or how does it work?
No, it's just done. It's all done via the board of Harness Racing New Zealand. Select all that with Martin, which they're all put out for. They're all the races are put out, and you can see where the finals are at least before paying up.
Yep.
So, like all your nominations, that are all there. Which is coming up to an important part of the year too. I will mention now, 1st of July, for those that want to pay foals, that is a big one for us. So, and probably a message from the New Zealand Sire Stakes, what I could probably mention on here is that the weanlings that are purchased at the NZB Standardbred weanling sale, for every horse that is entered in that sale, they have been given a month extension, because obviously the 26th of June to the 1st of July is a reasonably short time frame. So we've given the board of the New Zealand Sire Stakes has given you that 1 month extension.
Great, thing. And then also, so you're also eligible for the Harness Million Series as well if you purchase one of those weanlings going through the sale as well. We want to make sure people are aware of that. That's obviously there on the homepage. And don't forget, if once the sale goes active, and there's a couple of reasons it's not quite active just yet, but it won't be far off. But make sure you look in there and you'll be able to see everything going forward. So harness nzbstandardbred.co.nz to be able to view all that. Right, Camp. Garrard Sire Stakes for the 3-year-old colts and geldings. There's quite a few high-class NZB graduates, if you like, in this race series here today, headed up by Marketplace. He's just been sensational. You and I last week, you sent me a message last week about Tony Barron and his strike rate with his small amount of mares. And this guy has just been unbelievable since hitting the racetrack. Marketplace. He's the most exciting horse we got in harness racing on both sides of the ditch, I believe, right at the minute.
I think, when you look at him on just form value alone, pretty much every race he's been driven upside down. He's been driven with a sit. He's chased them. He's led them. And he continues to put his hand up. So, and he's got that raw point-to-point speed, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's awesome to watch. The night he got beat at Auckland, I think it was his first start over there. It was just, as I say, it was like a dog in a water bath. The legs were just going everywhere. It was amazing. If he had gone around in that first race at Auckland the overnight, Ferg would have been able to put the skis out and have a little ski up the straight. He would have been flying. So he was terrific. But it is a good field. It's a great field. Got the chocolates. Probably his number one adversary. He gets a barrier draw advantage, but you've got horses like 5 Crowns that are going terrific. Yep. Better's Anvil had a nice win last week. Great call, Matty Cross. At the end of it, he said, into the New Zealand side where you've got to meet Marketplace. And I can't remember his exact wording, but I was like, it was just spur of the moment stuff. And he wasn't being cheeky or nothing like that. It was almost like, oh, yeah, but you got to run into him. But they get the barrier draw advantage, and he was terrific winning up at Cambridge when I was up there. So it is a great field with plenty of intrigue, and going to be a lot of people tuning in to watch it.
Yeah, no, he's a generational horse, Marketplace. So, you really, it's unfortunate, but we have that. And unfortunately, we have that from time to time in our industry, don't you? You come up against these horses that are, exceptional, but, got the chocolates, has been drawn for a chance, hasn't he? So 5 Crowns inside of the second row. So, racing is racing, but you are right in what you're saying. It is a quality field. And, for the Sire Stakes, the money on offer, it's a good field, 200,000.
Group 1, $200,000 in stakes, 936. So for the Aussies, that's 736. Tune in, get on the Sky Active. Generally on the extra, that's the other thing I do hate, Cam, and it's definitely not in New Zealand or and I don't even think it's a Sky Active thing, but they're not always on the same. It's a little bit like, just so you're on camera again, Cam, just so you know, but it's a bit like Netflix where you get to pick half a dozen spots, but each week it's not in the same spot. There's harness, there's extra. There's harness extra, I think, as well, just to confuse you. You've got to go and find them. And if you, and any Aussies that are still watching, this at the minute, there's 3 minutes lead in, 3 minutes lead out, and then they cut off. So if you're 5 minutes out, you're not going to find the race. You have to wait for 3 minutes, and they'll cut over. So but for the New Zealanders, I tell you what, any participants watching this, it's important to run on time, because unfortunately it's happened a couple of times. I think it's pre-recorded. They set the times up, they cut you off halfway through a race. Bloody frustrating, that part is as well. So, but it is very, very important. Right, Cam, the NZB Standardbred uncut gems for the aged trotters here. Good little field of trotters, and again, supported by NZB Standardbred. Euro style at the back. Kimberly Butt, she's having a great run. Love Kim's. She's one of Campbell's Comment's very own. So, good field of trotters again, though, and the uncut gems, back again for another year.
Yeah, and this is a product that Sire Stakes came up with quite a few years ago during, in the days of the jewels. And these were and hence the name Uncut Gems. They were the horses that possibly weren't the jewels, but they were the Uncut Gems. So they are condition races. They are probably some of our best, I'm speaking on behalf of the Sire Stakes board here, but some of our better field size races we have. The money's up for that certain quality of horse. So the $50,000 go for the 55s to up to 89 in it under handicap conditions. So look, at the end of the day, these are good races. They're good betting races because, there's a lot of live chances. And when you can see that field of 12 as a sponsor, we couldn't be happier.
No, and Father Time, they're not a bunch of average horses, because Father Time, of course, got a run in the slot race, and Matty Markham, who's a very good form student, has a lot of time for the Kevin Townley trained trotters. So a lot of up-and-coming horses in this as well, plus some horses that are, you could say, journeyman horses, if you like, Cam, but provided their owners, trainers and drivers a lot of thrills through the way. So they get to race for good money, which is super exciting. We've got the uncut gems now for the 4-year-old and older boys. Boys. This, of course, is for the Pacers, and this has got a whole heap of up-and-coming horses here, especially when you can start getting down to that second line, but across the front line as well. It's a great bunch of horses. It's, as I said the other day, earlier on today, the depth of New Zealand harness racing at the minute is outstanding. A lot of these horses would have been in Australia a couple of years ago. They're all still here, and they're all going terrific.
Yeah, and the beauty of these races that, because they're under sort of preferential barrier draw, it makes a real race of it, doesn't it? These condition races. So you get, at the end of the day, you've got, just so many live chances in them, which, again, a 14-horse field for 50,000 for a few majority of these, it's a good bit of money for them,
No, it is indeed, and it's they're really nice races. 2-year-old fillies stepping out. Treacherous Me, Nathan Williamson. As I said, hopefully we'll catch up with him, and he'll go on the end of this interview in a little bit. First starter, pretty sure. It's out of the Me family. Of course it is, because it's Treacherous Me. So well related to a lot of the Aussies and Kiwis will know that whole family. But always fun looking at these 2-year-olds. Unfortunately, since we started this show, Cam Ripples, who's joined the Mark Jones stable, is actually now scratched. So I was going to highlight that it was a stable change. It's actually scratched now. So that's unfortunate for Connections. Hopefully everything's okay there, and makes it now a 7-horse field.
Does it really? It doesn't say. Well, but I must have refreshed mine, because it must have just happened, is it? Because it didn't have it on mine, but
it definitely had marked down.
There it is there now. So it's only just happened.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. Hopefully everything's okay. But yeah, it's
it's good to see the 2-year-olds go around, particularly the fillies. 2-year-old fillies go around at a good stake, Group 2. So, life after racing, there's a bit of black type on offer. So at the end of the day, it's good. I think it's what the basis of our industry is. Doesn't matter how you look at it. Fillies and mares, and they equate to brood mares. So again, it's quite nice. It's good to see a few of these guys come from further south, including Nathan, Chelsea Faithful's bringing up Ideal Crown by the looks of it. So
she's a ripper. Cam, I was actually going to highlight her. I was pointed out we Woodlands winners. We do a couple there. She ran third last night. Oh, barnstorming home. Chelsea's got herself a ripper, absolute little ripper here, and hopefully she gets a good run there, Fergie, in the bike.
There you go. So no, it's a good opportunity for these horses on a good night too. So yeah, no, it's good.
No, it is indeed. 2-year-old trotters stepping out. Duchess Maria. I'm interested to know whether he took her all the way back to Invercargill or he just left there. I would imagine he's just left her at Regan's place on the way through. But she gets the pole draw. Red Bank Warriors back again. But Who's Your Daddy? That horse I said is a great.
They would have come down on Sunday night. I would have thought, mate. To be honest, would have flown down on Sunday night. My prediction.
I would hope so as well. But Caitlin, good field, great little lot. There's a couple of first starters there as well, so a bit of intrigue in that. But the 2-year-old trotters again racing for 50,000. So the stake money's there. Start looking at the weanling sales and get ready for the yearling sales next year, Cam. That's all I can say.
100%.
Yeah,
the opportunities are there. And when you look at the field size, there's 7 of them. So you know what I mean. Like there's opportunities, people.
Yep, absolutely. The Duns have got into it. Don't worry about that. They're well and truly got into there as well. This is the Uncut Gems for the mares. Same thing though. Another 11 horse field racing for good money. Someone's going to take home some nice prize money there. Stephen Amanda Telfer. I don't know how many times they got 2 in the one race and they're drawing side by side today, but it's a fair bit. So, they've got a good team of horses. That's an interesting little race that as far as exposed form. I'm not going to try and predict who will win that one, but Seaside Rose.
You would suggest this will be a good betting market, this one. Yeah. But again, this is one of these products. Again, if we want to talk about the New Zealand Size Stakes Board, it is a great product. So these races were put on in partnership with Harness Racing New Zealand a number of years ago. To be eligible for these races, you've only got to pay the A and B payment. So you don't have to be fully sustained or anything like that because these are our other races. So there's real opportunities. It does mean you just get on and pay those size stakes, especially those early sustaining payments, and then there will be some opportunities for you later in your career if you choose to do so. They are well found. They are well supported races, and from a board perspective, they are some of our probably more even racing.
Yep, absolutely. I didn't want to highlight too many other races, Cam. I just wanted to highlight one horse, and I can't find it. I'm going to have to jump out of it. There's a 2-year-old.
Fugitive right there, isn't it?
Fugitive, Rakiro Maximus, of course, both graduates out of that. Buster Douglas was terrific for Tommy Baggery. 2 starts ago. Johnny Dunn's in the cart this time. Good little field, that actually. Plenty going on. Cam, thank you. As always, appreciate it. We want to make sure once the weanling sale comes out, we'll be doing another cross. We might give it a week or 2, get people to digest it and start highlighting some of those horses. Keep an eye out for Fugitive, Rakiro Maximus, Who's Your Daddy this weekend, but of course, Angelique Copy. There's probably a few others then that are named that might be going around as well. And if they are, I apologise because I didn't realise that's how that worked, that once they were named and racing. But there's 3 nice little stories anyway there that have all recouped their prize money. Rakiro Maximus hasn't quite, but he will on his win first up, that's for sure.
It's early doors.
Yeah, and he had that one win. Mate, thank you. Anyone wants to get in touch with you, go through nzbstandardbred.co.nz or call you direct. Your phone number's always there.
Yep, no problem.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, mate.
All right. Thank you. Cheers, Paul.
Right now on Over the Ditch, catching up with a very happy Nathan Williamson. Hey, Nate.
How are you, mate?
Very, very good. Congratulations on a great night at the office at Auckland on Friday night, Alexandra Park, Saturday night. I actually, in my head, said don't say Friday, and I still said Friday coming up. But congratulations, 2 runners, 2 group winners. Great thrill.
Yeah, unbelievable, really, Paul. Like, go there in those big races, sort of always hopeful rather than overly confident. So pull both of them off. Great thrill.
Yeah, it must have been. We'll start with the little 2-year-old trotter for a start for the prices. you've got a great association with them. I know you've got a few horses with them. You also drive a couple of horses with them. They've prepared some of your horses for the sale. So it's a nice, well, must be a good thrill, friends and that, and producing what looks like a really classy filly.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I had a great association with the Prices down here in Southland. Like, when I first moved to Southland, they put me on all their horses, and I had a great association with them over the years. Always had a great strike rate. Horses are always ready to go when they go to racing. So, couldn't be happier that we're starting to pull off some good races for them, and they can enjoy the sport.
Your audio's a little bit crackly, but hopefully it'll be okay. It was better. Just got a little bit funny there for a sec, Nate. But sorry, Nate, we just got hold of the audio a little bit better. But you were just saying there how professional a horse she is, and she just seems to want to trot all the time.
Yeah, she's pretty solid. Like, she hasn't touch wood, had any gallops off the place, and she's been really solid since she's joined my team. She hasn't galloped at all. Like, the only time she will have a wee gallop is quite often warming down. She likes to have a wee canter, but more than happy to let her if she keeps trotting like that. But look, she's seems a professional wee filly, and what she's done, she's sort of done in hand at this stage.
She has a funny action, almost that Muscle Hill action. I'm just trying to make sure I get the right leg. It is her offside foreleg. Does that affect her?
Yeah, she has got a wee bit of a peculiar action. She throws her front legs around a little, but it's amazing. She doesn't interfere anywhere in behind, doesn't touch in behind at all. She's real clean gated that way. So, and obviously with the way she throws her front leg, she doesn't interfere in front at all either. So, she's looks strange coming towards you, and probably more so evident on that Auckland way of going. But sitting behind her, she feels a beautiful gated trotter. So and certainly gets over the ground.
Yeah, she's had 2 starts in both in Group 3s, and but managed to pull them both off. She goes around on I was actually going to go into the results to the races, but she goes around on Friday night at Addington this time. Has she handled the trip? How has she handled all the trips? And she gets a good barrier draw, but is it a good barrier draw, barrier 1 on Friday night?
Yeah, well, look, that's to be, still to be seen, I suppose. She has been real sensible off the gate, and she can leave it pretty quick. She come out, I was, probably, had a nice hold of her there the other night, and she come out pretty strong. So, as long as she brings her manners to Addington, I'd say she'll get out of there, and she'll be, sort of can make her own luck a little bit from her draw. But as to whether how she's come through it, she's come through the travel remarkably well. She flew home on Sunday evening and arrived there at Regan's on Sunday night. I sorted her out there, and then we put her out on Monday morning, and she seemed really bright and happy and well. So reports are good coming from up the road, and she's settled in there really good.
Big task, isn't it, for a young horse when you think about it? Bottom of the South Island, North Island, now back into the middle of the South Island. Good signs for you for the future.
Yeah, well, it will be the making of her either way, Paul. This bit of tripping and travelling for a young horse. It's good to have it, sort of under them as far as she's sort of learning that she's got to cope with a wee bit. But in saying that, she has handled it really, really good, and you can only sort of take those steps if she's handling it. So we've asked her, a big ask of her, but at this stage she seems like she's she's obviously won those 2 and come through it well, and just one more to go, I suppose, on Friday, and then she can have a good break.
I was going to ask that. So and then head towards the end of the season, or do you wait for another year?
Yeah, no, so she'll have a break, probably, I'd imagine about a 6-week break or something like that in the paddock. She's come a long way, and, with all this tripping and travelling and that, just a nice wee break, and then, bring her back for the spring. Like, there's, quite a few feature 2-year-old events in the spring, and, with this sort of under her belt, I'd say she'll be set up pretty well, and, she would have had that experience under it all stand to her in the spring.
Yep, should only help her. The other man we've got to congratulate you on taking out the Magnus Benro New Zealand Sire Stakes. We'll get the sponsors out of the way. But Mistress, and I'll put the video up of the last lap in a bit, Nathan. But she's a lovely filly. This filly got high speed. Seems very tactical. Seems like you can posse her up anywhere you want. And the best attribute, she knows where that winning post is.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. Just a real quality filly. Beautifully gated, beautiful manners, and as you say, she ticks every box really. She's got good speed. She can stay. She's adaptable. She's got gate speed if you need it. You can drive her, handy or back in the field. She goes right-handed as good as left-handed. She's a great traveller. She's a good doing filly, and she's got plenty of speed and ability. So she's a perfect wee racehorse, really. I suppose that's evident with her. She's had 11 starts, most of them all at the top level, and she's either won or run second, and I think she had 1/3. So she's very consistent, and just a great filly. It was good. She was had 2 runs leading into that the other night, and I thought her third at her last start probably was a wee bit disappointing. But it really brung her on, and I was quietly confident the other night would see her back to her best. And she was explosive over that last 400.
Oh, phenomenal! And Princess Gracie was on your back, and you dropped her about a length and a half. And but even when you sat down on her and knew you had the race won, she kept pulling away. That's what I mean. She knows where that winning post is. She ran right through the line. You didn't, but she did.
Yeah, that's right. She's actually used to have a bit of a habit of getting to the lead and skylarking a little. And so when she got there, I felt her put the brakes on a wee bit and have a wee look. And it wasn't till the last 100 metres she thought, right, now I've still got to carry on with it. And she really actually extended through the line, So, it was, really exciting. And, it makes me think those staying distances won't be a problem to her either.
No, absolutely. And I'll ask you on that. I want to just touch on her form, especially for the Aussies that are watching this. One of the great things that they do in New Zealand, Nathan can't actually see this, but if it's in red, used to be in orange, but if it's in red, it's actually a group race listed here. And you can see she's had 11 starts. I think 5 of those have been in group company. Actually, 6 of those have been in group company. And as Nate said, they're 1/3 that last start. But then 2 seconds and a win in the other. She's just so consistent. It's just it's an amazing 200, just shy of $300,000 in stake as well, Nath. She's as you Kiwis like to say, she's a bonny wee mare, isn't she?
Yeah, no, she certainly is. The other thing in that's quite funny is she's in every group race she's ever been in, she's never drawn the front row, which is quite unreal. She's had absolutely no luck with her draws right through her career. Which is kind of uncanny, but she's drew the back row in all of them. So she certainly had to do it the tradesman way. So goodness knows what she'll do if she gets a good draw. She won't know herself.
Does she have good gate speed? Can she match beside Me's and Winelight, those sort of horses?
Oh, I'm sure she could. Look, just through circumstance, we've never had to ask her, but I trialled her there one day, just this time in, and asked her to leave the gate a wee bit, and it was there. So I'm sure she'll have great gate speed. Yeah.
Do you watch from afar those horses, Arafura, and I know you got friends and that all associated with these guys, from Ferg right through to Hayden Cullen and those guys. You watch those races and sometimes think, oh my God, and then other times when they go to war, like they have been up there for a few times, you think, yep, keep doing that, guys. So I'm going to come up there fresh.
Yeah, it was kind of the way. Look, the size stakes was worth 200,000, and I just felt like the Great Northern Oaks was only worth 100. And I know, look, it's not to be sneezed at, but I just thought if we could have it bang on for the 200 would make sense. And just with the preparation we had, that Great Northern Oaks, we were going to be second up into it, and it was over 2,700 metres. I just decided to keep it closer to home and give her another start and build her through to what was hopefully going to be a grand final the other night. So luckily it all come to plan, and she was spot on the other night. But it's certainly they've had some hard racing, those fillies, and they're certainly been racing super. So I'm sure there'll be many more battles in the spring with them.
What do you do with her?
So she's coming to Queensland, Paul. She
Awesome.
flies over tomorrow. It was going to be, she was meant to fly yesterday, but there's a wee bit of a delay with the plane. So she's going to join Grant Dixon's team, and she's going to Queensland for the Winter Carnival. So, look, she's just a filly that's such a good doing filly, and she just really does thrive. And she had a wee break over Christmas, and it took me longer to get her back to peak fitness than what normally would, which is probably a good thing that she's such a good doing filly. But it's also luckily I had a real patient owner that was just willing to say we're not going till she's ready, and we've reaped the benefit again there. But I do think, the racing through the winter in Queensland will be of good benefit to her, and it means she just sort of can have a little break and go there, and then perhaps a little break after that and back for the spring over here. So I think she'll enjoy her winter break.
I'm glad you said that, because I spoke to Cam Bray there before, and one of the flow-on effects, if you like, of all the stake money and the increased stake money, and that is so many horses not leaving and going to Australia. I know Without You it has left and has been sold, but predominantly these fillies, because there's so much great prize money on offer. I'm glad that she is coming back, and it'll be great to see the battles that she might take on with a few of these other horses now, especially through that November time slot that's so important for New Zealand harness racing.
Absolutely, yeah, no. So it's exciting. Like she'll go to Queensland and race over there, and then as you say, come back for the spring. And the majority of features for her, the Neverly R fillies and the New Zealand Oaks and races like that are all around Cup time and through November in Christchurch. So Mick's excited to get her over to Queensland, but equally as excited to get her back for our big races over here.
It must give you great confidence, mate. Young trainer, down the bottom of the South Island, be easy to say, no, we want to keep it here. The fact that he backed you in so much, I know he's got so many horses with you, but must give you a lot of confidence as well.
Oh, absolutely. Look, anyone who's met Mick will know he's a champion bloke, and if I said to someone the other day, if you can't get on with Mick, I think you might be the one with the problem, But he's a guy like he just leaves it up to the trainers, And I think when you're an owner like that, you can sort of get the best result out of your horse, because your trainer's looking at your horse every day, and then they can really feel like they can do the best for them, So there's been no pressure training for him, even though he's got a lot of nice horses and a lot of extremely well bred horses. There's absolutely no pressure, and no, he's a dream to train for.
Yeah, he is, and he's promised me one interview, so I can get one interview, he said. So I just got to time me time right. I just got to pick the mark when I think he'd be worth the interview. So he told me I won't get two, because he's not about the fancy. You know that as well as I do, but he's promised me one interview. So did have my daughter with me. I think she might have been able to sort of half coax it out of him. So we'll just wait and see and go from there. Mate, I just want to touch on your season. You're nicknamed the GOAT. Johnny Turner and the guys call you the GOAT. Is a little bit more about your pool game, but mate, the consistency you have with your driving ranks is outstanding. The stats in New Zealand are great. Your UDR 2.9, like almost at 3 this year. But you go back through it, and you're super consistent all the way through, which has got to be, one, you must be wrapped in, but it also must be hard. Again, down the bottom of the South Island, you don't get a lot of opportunities. It's very competitive part of the world, and go from there. You must be wrapped with how that's going along for a start.
Yeah, look, obviously stats are something you sort of you're always working on, just due to the fact you're always just trying your best, So those things, if you are having a good run, they sort of take care of themselves. So no, we just really work hard. We've tried to with Mick coming on board, and not only that, numerous owners here that have sort of put good faith in me. Then it's been really good to be able to sort of have nice quality of horse, and that we can sort of set for nice races. And if we can pull them off, well, that keeps your strike rate and things like that going pretty good. So, no, I've got a great staff around me, as you know, too, Paul. Like, you can't do anything without your staff, and I've got an awesome staff and, you know, a great family behind me too. You know, my wife sort of handles a lot of the accounts and does all that side of it as well. So there's a big family operation behind it all, as well as, you know, I got wicked staff, you know, who work tirelessly to, you know, make sure that all the horses are cared for 100%. So there's a lot of people to thank and a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing your staff do have, and George is one, like, love the horses. A lot of the photos that go up and things like that, it is not about the race you win. It's actually about what the horses mean to them. Ollie's in the same boat, so they do a great job that way. Chelsea still working for it?
Yeah, Chelsea's still working for me. She just works the mornings because she's got a team of her own horses.
She's got a little nipper, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's got a really nice filly that's racing on Friday night at Addington, so she's away up there, so it's exciting for her. So, and yeah, she does a really good job with her wee team as well. So I've got a young staff, but plenty of enthusiasm, and as you say, they're really good horse people who really care about the horses. And I think, yeah, look, that, you know, all comes to fruition when you talk about strike rates and things like that. If the horses are happy, they race more consistently.
No, absolutely. I want to highlight your training record while you're talking about that. Your UDR's nearly at 4, which is just phenomenal. You're at almost half what you trained last year as far as runners. We're not halfway through the year, so you're going awesome in that sense. But, yeah, when the Nathan Williamson horses presented, mate, they are a huge chance of a collect. So I think you should be very proud of that as well. I saw that, I was like, holy dolly. But the same thing, go back to 2017, I think it was at 2.1, but other than that, you're in the high 2s and then now in the 3s and consistently in the 3s. So, yeah, what you're putting on the track, mate, is outstanding and terrific. And, yeah, I think it's testament to the sort of person you are. You also are great at harness racing, because a lot of people here in Australia won't realise you do a lot of stuff from Southland trotting harness racing track. You represent the trainers and drivers as well up there. You're a voice. You're only a young man. You got plenty going on, and but you are dead set harness racing tragic, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I am. Yeah, no, it's bloody, you know, there's a lot of work that goes on, you know, not just, yeah, as you say, as far as training and driving, but administration side of it as well. And I've actually backed off a little bit of that the last couple of years, just to, you know, focus on other things. I've got a young family as well coming through. So, but yeah, no, as you say, it's, yeah, there's certainly, you know, a bit going on there. So no, we're pretty busy, but we enjoy it.
No, I think it's great. Rest of the team, what else you got? Oh, you got a first starter. That's the one I did want to ask about. Very, very well bred first starter at going all the way to Addington. So you must have a little bit of confidence in that filly as well.
Yeah, we like her. Look, it's just been a wee bit of a unfortunate we haven't been able to get some racing into her. We've had her nominated, and the races haven't got off the ground for the 2-year-olds. They're a little bit light on the ground. I think we only got 4 noms for our one and down here in the south, but it was actually only one nominated for the Canterbury one. So yeah, look, there's just a wee bit light on the ground for the 2-year-old. So I had to take her to a feature race on her first start, just to get some racing into her. So I think a wee bit of her. We do like her, but big step for us. So it'll be just a sort of more or less see how she handles that, and without going in there really super confident that she can, you know, ruffle some feathers. But I'm sure she'll be competitive, and yeah, what she does from there going forward should only, you know, that Friday night should bring her on, you know.
You might not be aware of it. You may be. I'm not sure. But Ripples is actually already scratched too. So that actually changes the field a little bit. The tongue out the side of the mouth was nearly a bad sign there, mate.
Yeah. No, I didn't know that. But that's, you know, obviously very, you know, like, yeah, hopefully nothing's too seriously wrong, or, you know, something like that. Obviously, we never like to see a nice filly like. Cool.
Thank you. One of the downsides to this is every now and then you get a phone call and it drops out the audio. But thank you very much for joining. Congratulations. I'd like to do a few more of these, continue to do them. I'm hoping to get back to New Zealand through the winter months for a few times. Not sure I'll get down south, because I keep saying how good the weather is down south, and I don't want to ruin it, because every time I've been up there, it's been awesome. But congratulations, mate, on brilliant night at the office, and yeah, I think richly deserved for, you know, a young bloke. As I said, you know, you got your own property, you got a lot of investment in there, so it's great for the industry that you're able to to achieve these highs, mate.
No, thank you very much, Paul, and obviously, thanks to what you do for the industry as well. It's keeping your finger on the pulse, not only through Australia but over here as well. And no, it's greatly appreciated. And certainly, anytime you want me on, I'll be there.
Awesome. I'll call on that. And especially now we worked out you just got to have the phone out of the cradle. It's very interesting, some of the things that happen in technology, but that's all good. Nath, thank you.
Good as gold, mate. Appreciate it.